Easter is right around the corner, one of probably 2 days at your church with the most guests all year long. But what are you going to do with them afterwards? That's what we're talking about today on the Church Revitalization Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Church Revitalization Podcast, brought to you by the Malphurs Group team, where each week we tackle important, actionable topics to help churches thrive. And now, here's your hosts, Scott Ball and AJ Matthew.
Welcome to the Church Revitalization Podcast. My name is Scott Ball. I'm joined by my friend and co-host, AJ Matthew. AJ, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Scott. And it's St. Valentine week, Scott.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I don't know anything about St. Valentine. Don't ask me.
Here's a fun fact. Maybe you don't know this. Of course, he's the Valentine. He's the saint of heart-shaped boxes with candy in them. Of course.
Saint Hallmark.
Roses. But he's also the patron saint of beekeepers, I saw this morning.
Oh, there you go.
I'm surprised like some kind of bee thing hasn't become like a symbol of Valentine's Day.
Be mine. Did you get that on a...
Yes. No, I like that.
There you go. All right.
So
this is the kind of hard-hitting facts that people tune into this podcast for.
The third holiest day of the year, Saint Valentine.
There's no way that's true.
No. We are talking about Easter, though, an actual holy day of the year.
Yes, I think the holiest day of the
absolutely, calendar. And the planning of a newcomer event. So this is good.
All right, so let's kind of set this up a little bit. Couple of things. Number one, we are we're giving away for free on our website a 10-step assimilation plan. So this will help you. And Molly, who is on our team, has even used this year's dates to kind of tell you exactly when you should be doing these different things, which is really helpful. So thank you, Molly, for putting this together for us. But it's just kind of a step-by-step guide on how you should follow up with your Easter guests. And so go to malphursgroup.com/127 if you're not already there, and you can download for free that PDF. But at the very end of that PDF, we kind of give a discussion about a newcomer event. So all of your follow-up, one of the mistakes, I think, AJ, that happens in guest follow-up is the follow-up has no real point.
Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah, it's like, hey, thanks for coming. It was glad to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks. Glad you were here. Hope you come back sometime. Mm-hmm. If you want to imagine it like a dating relationship, which I know you're not dating these people, but imagine you are, it'd be better if you were to plan a second date. You finish a date. Hey, I'd love to go out again sometime. That's good. But wouldn't it be better if you said, I'd love to take you out next weekend? Mm-hmm. Would you like to go to the movies? Then that in person that you're dating can say yes or no. Like, yes, that would be great. Or no, I can't do next Saturday. How about the next Saturday or whatever? So the point is to have a point in your guest follow-up. And the point we are recommending should be a newcomer event. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of background for the topic, but try to frame it up a bit.
Yep, that makes sense. So let's talk about what that newcomer event, kind of the elements of the newcomer event that would be important. We're not going to get into deep specifics, but a general framework for a newcomer event. So the first point, how many points do we have today, Scott? We've got 5.
5.
So the first one is to determine the schedule of the event, but also the feel of the event. Like what's this really going to be all about? And that's important. And we've talked about the feel, especially in like conducting a worship service. What exactly what do you want people to take away from kind of just in the general atmosphere and the things that happened? And, do you want them to walk away with like just a warm, fuzzy feeling about the church? Do you want them to walk away feeling informed? Do you want it to have been a fun event or something more serious? So these are all the kinds of things that might go into what the feel is, but also partnered in here on point number 1 is the schedule, which is not any less important than the feel, actually, Scott.
Yeah. So you want to think about I mean, you want to think through every detail. So if you're a church that has 2 services, are you going to do the newcomer event after second service? Okay, well, what if you're a guest who came first service? Are you going to ask that person to come back to the church after they've left after first service? Or should we be doing this in between a first and second service? How long is it going to be? Are we going to provide childcare for this event? Is it going to be kid friendly? What kind of food are we going to offer? That's going to be influenced by the time of day that it is. If we're doing this at 10, probably it's donuts. If we're doing this at noon, maybe it's pizza. So you would just want to think through all those practical details. Don't leave any stone unturned, and really think through, how is this event going to flow? If you make it just an infomercial for the church, that's probably not going to be super great. But if you don't give any information about the church, that's going to be terrible too. So you want to find that happy medium between the two. So the first step is to determine, what's this event going to be like? When would it be? How long would it be? Kind of all of the details in designing this event. And if you're not sure what it ought to look like, talk to a couple of people, informally, and go, what kind of event would you attend? And get some information and let that inform you. I think if you just hole yourself up in your office and let the whole thing be birthed from your own mind, it's probably not going to be that great. Talk to a few people, talk to some moms, talk to some people who would be making the decisions about the calendar, and let their input influence what this thing looks like for you.
Yep, that's a good one. All right, moving into number 2, don't require an RSVP. And I think this is a really important one as well. My church always, would announce this after, near the end of the service or anytime during the service, and make it really clear, like, hey, if you're here for the first time, or maybe you've even been for a couple of weeks and today's the first you're hearing about this, that is okay. We want you there anyway. Come on, over to the fellowship hall and have some food with us. Make people super at ease about the fact that they didn't pre-register and don't even have a pre-registration for it. You just don't even have to do that, because everybody, it's a good symbol that, hey, we didn't have to know you're coming. You're always welcome here anyway, and just let them show up. Yes, you're going to overbuy on the food, but I think there's a good tip there in this PDF that you can probably plan pretty close on the food, but maybe get something that'll keep or that could be easily donated. And even, let those folks grab an extra sandwich if you want and have it for dinner tonight. So
that's right.
Don't let those kinds of things keep you from making this really free and easy.
Yeah, that's the benefit of doing something like pizza. If the youth group meets on Sunday night and you're doing this on a Sunday afternoon, just throw those extra pizzas in the refrigerator, and the youth will gladly eat them. They won't care. They won't even care if it's cold. You can pick up the crusts that people leave, throw those in a basket, and they'll be happy. That's right. But you're going to be able to know. You're going to get it. You're going to be correct about the number of people who are going to show up within a margin of error. So within 5 to 10 people, you're going to be able to guess. Hey, we think we might have 5 or 10 people at this event. Great. So you buy for 15 or 20 people. And if it's pizza, that's easy. It's not expensive. Yeah. You may have a great kitchen at your church, and so someone's going to make barbecue sandwiches or whatever. Those are easy things that if there's extra barbecue left over, the youth will eat it. So not a problem. Don't worry about this. Yeah. Just plan on overbuying, and it'll be okay. Yeah. Yep. No, hey, me and Scott will take your leftovers. Call us. That's right. Just pack it up. We really overplanned. That's right. Ship it to our PO box. It'll be gross, but you know what? We'll take one for the team. Barbecue. Send some barbecue. All right. Number 3, be certain that you've planned a next step. And this might be maybe the most important piece out of these 5 things, because having the next thing, just like this event
they were there as guests and you have something for them to do next.
Yeah.
This is not where our relationship ends. We need to continue to move on to this. So what are we actually going to invite them to? What is the next step or the course of action that you want them to take after attending your newcomer event? And that should be something that helps them begin a connection at the church, to begin building relationships in the church and getting involved in something. And that might be just a Sunday school class. It might be a small group. It might be volunteering for something, some sort of next steps class that begins to look at spiritual gifts, or any of these things. I mean, they're okay as long as you do them well. But there should be a point to this, which, Scott, brings us to the big question about discipleship pathway. I mean, what are we planning to do with people anyway to help them mature in their faith and take them from one step to the next in maturity? That's what this is about, is getting them on, to that next step to a life with Christ. So this is not something to just gloss over. This is a really important aspect.
Yeah. There's no one right answer to this. There's going to be the right answer for your church. So the next step might be having someone take the growth track class. It might be someone hopping into a short-term small group or Bible study. It might be getting them connected into a serving opportunity. It might be membership class. Who knows? There's going to be a wide variety of options, but you should have a clear on-ramp for those folks. And this is very important. No one wants to feel like they would be hopping into the middle of something. So what you don't want to have is, hey, sign up for this Bible study. Well, and it's already on week 3 of 7. People are not going to do that. So be sure that whatever that on-ramp opportunity is for someone, it's something that they can get into the beginning of it and not feel like they're getting into the middle of something. So just think through what that next step is going to be. And like AJ said, you had a next step in your guest follow-up from Easter, and it was this. So if this is the second date, what's the third date? What is the third date? And that's what you need to get planned. And you should have, this is a key tip. You need to have a physical piece of paper sign up at the event. Don't be like, okay, well, thanks for coming. Scan this QR code on the way out. People hate that. Just have a piece of paper and be like, who wants to sign up? And then you're not going to get 100%. But let's say out of the 10 people, 4 people sign up for your next thing. Great. You can go ahead and onboard those folks. The 6 people then who didn't sign up, you can contact them and be like, take them out to coffee one-on-one or whatever. So you now have an opportunity and to go, hey, thank you for coming to the newcomer event. Let's get together for coffee. They may need a more personal one-on-one kind of interaction. So, but don't miss the low-hanging fruit, right, AJ?
Yeah.
Have the sign-up sheet. If you can just have a sign-up sheet and 4 people sign up, then that's great. They're going to just keep going on their journey. And so that's what you should do. Be sure whatever your next step is, have a sign-up sheet, pass it around. Don't have it at the door, hang it, make them look at it and choose to pass it on or sign up.
Yeah. Could be a piece of paper, a card, here, just let us know that you're coming, leave it there on the table, and we'll collect these after. So
I feel the same way about offering. I know it's maybe I'm old school now and old, but it's like, pass the stinking offering basket. It ought to be a part of the worship service. Sorry, yeah. I'm fuddy-duddy about that, I think, but I wish we would pass it. Yeah, because otherwise you're giving people an excuse just to ignore.
Sure. Yeah. All right. $1 million idea. Free for the taking today. Antimicrobial offering plate.
Somebody wants to make that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but this is so goofy. Not a single person caught COVID by passing an offering basket. That didn't happen. That's never happened.
That's true. But if we want to if we want to come up with something that we can make money off of, the antimicrobial plastic offering plate.
All right, someone make that. It's not going to be me.
Then from the proceeds, no pressure, but you're welcome to make a huge donation to the Malfers Group.
Malfers Group, yeah.
Tax deductible.
We are a nonprofit.
We are a nonprofit organization. All right. Yeah. Hey, number 4, in case you haven't picked up on our attitude towards this, keep it simple and fun. So, I guess if your church is well known in the community for being stuffy, and all the stuffy people go there because they love stuffy, make your event boring and stuffy. Otherwise, make it simple and fun. And yeah, I mean, people want to see personality as well, right? I mean, we want to kind of get to know who are the folks kind of leading this church and what are they all about. So, I mean, just let your personalities be attractive and personal, and make sure they walk away getting the necessary information, but that they also see it's a family environment, that you would be in a church that they would like to be a part of. Be who you are, I suppose, maybe is a good way of saying this as well.
This is maybe a sub point that I maybe could have put into when we were talking about number 1, but I'll put it in here.
Yeah.
Part of making it simple and fun is right sizing the space. So if you're expecting 10 people, but you host it in your fellowship hall that can seat 100 people, it's not going to feel fun. It's going to feel awkward. Host it in a Sunday school room that, can maximum seat 30 people. You want to, there's a real thing. I heard it from Craig Groeschel, but so I don't know if he originated this phrase or if he got it from somewhere else, but I heard it from him. And it's the intensity of density. When you're in a room that is the right size for the number of people, it feels better than if you're in this huge room with a small number of people that feels awkward. So part of keeping it simple and fun is making sure that ties in, I guess, to number 1, but kind of getting that environment correct and making sure you're in the right room for the right number of people and so on.
Yeah, there you go. Don't hold it in the kindergarten room in tiny chairs and tables.
That's right.
Also not a good choice.
No, wouldn't be a good choice.
All right. Our 5th and final point is just get help if you need it. You already mentioned maybe reaching out to somebody else to kind of, what would be the best way of doing this? If you're friends with, the pastors at other churches that are regularly doing these things, by all means, see what they have to say. And we're here for you as well. So, I mean, we just jokingly mentioned we're a nonprofit ministry. We offer as much as we possibly can for free as resources to the church in general to just try to help with things. And you're always welcome to reach out to us and have a conversation about what's going on in your church. And so there's a link at malfersgroup.com/127, today's show notes. There's a link there that you could schedule an appointment, talk with me or Scott or both. And we'd just love to hear what's going on in your church and what are your plans and what are your questions? We'll talk that out.
Yes, we will. Last point here as we kind of wrap up, I just want to say, don't miss this opportunity at Easter.
Yeah.
People are open to spiritual things. Easter's the number 1 time. I actually would have thought it was Christmas, because Christmas has more commercial appeal, I guess, than Easter does. But Easter's still number 1 for people searching for a church. So people are online, they're looking. Do all the things you should do. Update if it's been a while since you've looked at your website, and you got a bunch of outdated stuff on there. If you've still got the we're reopening tab up. I mean, unless you just reopened from COVID 5 minutes ago, it's time to take that down. Do some spring cleaning on your website, get the thing ready for Easter, all that stuff. I mean, that could probably be a whole other episode of the podcast, and maybe it should be. Maybe we need to get Molly on here to talk about how to get your website ready for Easter. But the point I want to make here is that don't do all that front end work and then fail to do the back end work on Easter, which is what happens a lot. We roll out the red carpet for guests before Easter, and then afterwards we're like, whatever, come back if you want. And it's kind of sending a mixed signal. If you care about getting them in the door, don't just care about getting that number up for Easter so that you can brag about it and feel good about yourself. Actually care about the people who are finding their way into your door on Easter Sunday and do the work. So now is the time. I know it's February. We're a ways away from Easter, but now is the time to start planning all the assimilation stuff, working on newcomer event planning, guest follow-up, all that. So download the guest follow-up guide, look at all the steps and go, hey, are we ready for all of these things? Could we do this if we needed to? And begin this discussion on a newcomer event. And if you need help, shout out to us. Shout out to us. That's not a thing.
Shout it out.
Shout it out. We probably won't hear if you shout, but we will definitely know if you click that link and schedule a meeting with us. That would be the best way to connect.
There you go. All right. Hey, this was episode 127 of the Church Revitalization Podcast, and you can read today's show notes at malfirstgroup.com/127. You can also get that link in the description below if you're watching us on YouTube. If you are, hey, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you be sure to get our content every week, and share this with somebody else. If you're friends with another pastor, leadership team member at a church, then send this episode over to them, because we would love to be able to connect with them as well. So thanks for listening this week. On behalf of Scott and all the Malfirst Group team, we're praying blessings over your church, especially in the Easter season, and we are here to help whenever you need us. We'll be back next week with another great topic.